How's it going, bro?
Oh man, dude, how long does it feel between Monday and now, dude? I feel like it's been forever.
Yeah,
I
it feels
feel
like
like
a week.
why is that, bro? Why is that? Is it because of Vibe Sesh or what do you think?
I don't know, man. But it's a good. I understand what you're saying.
That's weird.
Mm,
Bro, this time thing is so weird, bro. You know
that's
what
a
I'm
view
saying?
right there. You gotta talk
Damn,
about something.
bro. Hey, we got our first question here. Wisdom, please, about all this ghosting going on. What do you think,
I would
Cisco?
like to know too, bro. I'm getting ghosted too.
You getting ghosted too, bro?
It's all good, bro. It happens to everybody.
Oh shit, we got Josh Gambino. While we wait for our special guest, Mr. Richard Blake, PhD psychology.
Yeah.
In the meantime, what's up? What's up?
Hold on.
Jesus. Hold on. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
Nothing much, friend.
Bro, oh wow, wow, handsome man.
Yeah, you like the hair.
Yeah, I like the hair, baby. Bro, is it a pain to shampoo and shit or what?
I haven't showered in like 5 days, friend.
Damn!
Damn.
Damn!
You, bro.
Woo! I'm glad this is a live, brother. Damn!
Oh, don't worry.
brother.
I don't stink. I do not stink.
How do you not stink, bro? How do you not stink, bro?
That's
I
My
can say
hair
that.
aura.
No, bro. Bro, you know Asians have a certain like enzyme where we don't smell when we sweat and shit. Did you know that, Cisco? I'm being
Brother.
serious.
Italian Asian.
Italian Asian.
A little bit of Hawaii.
Really? A little bit of Hawaii. I can feel it. Bro, you know why? You got that like kind of laid back, that laid back vibe, bro. Like you're cool and shit. You got the little Asian thing going on, right? Like Hawaiians. Bro.
Brother.
Oh, what is that, bro?
Connected
Oh,
to the
little
earth.
shrooms. All right.
Oh shit, a little shroom.
A
Hey,
little
you ready?
psychedelics. Okay.
Bro, what's your name? What's your name?
My name?
Mm-hmm.
My name is Josh.
Yeah, Josh. Good to meet you,
Josh
Josh.
Gambino.
Josh Gambino.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I am.
A good
Bro,
name.
Josh, so how do you know us or you just joined the live or what?
I've been watching your reels recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
I
like
was a
it?
little confused at first, but then I got along.
What
I was like,
are
is
you
this an
confused
actual
about?
monk?
Why
I thought you
monk,
were.
bro? I'm a samurai, bro. Bro, I'm a samurai. Not a
Vibe
monk.
Samurai. And I didn't
Yeah.
even look at your username, and you started talking about a Vibe Samurai. I was like, who the hell? And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, bro, the videos
Amazing.
are getting crazy, bro.
You said you get a little faded too. So it's not just me.
A little faded? I've never heard that term before, bro. I get a little faded. Bro, Cisco, you've heard that? I get a little faded?
Of course. Of course.
What
You
about
can
you,
get
guy in the corner?
cross-faded. You can drink and smoke, get a cross.
Nice. Hey, Josh, so you're going to hang out with us for our special guest tonight?
I might as well. I don't got nothing going.
Yeah, but you're gonna contribute, or you're just gonna be like the jester hi guy?
I can do both. I can contribute to society a
All
little bit.
right, let's do it. Good. Well,
All right.
I can't wait.
Samurai in training. All right.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Let me send this thing to he's the first time that
Hold
he's
on, let me
late.
flush my toilet.
Yeah, let's do it.
Don't want to leave a treat for my girlfriend.
Oh man, bro, where have you been, bro? Bro, you literally just discovered me, or what?
Yeah, like about recently, like a week ago.
A week
I've been
ago?
watching your videos.
You saw my kill the Buddha and then Buddha shit stick one?
The Buddha shit stick was the one that I actually researched the most. And what was him? His name started with a Y.
Ejin.
Yeah, him especially. I was like, wow, I didn't know that people could have that much, like, at first I thought irreverence, but then I was like, wait, no, everything is equal. Even the shit on the ground that my cats, like what they do, that is the same thing as everything else. Nothing is above something, I guess. And that really got me thinking. I was like, this doesn't make any sense to me, but now I'm starting to learn. So I can see that it's jokes, but it's also seriousness.
That's right. I'm there. You got it, man. I've been purposely doing that. I'm testing out a new thing. It was my second video. No. The first video was Kill the Buddha. The second one was the shit stick one. You know what I mean? But the
The
Kill
Kill
the
the Buddha,
Buddha
I seen that.
resonated a lot more. It resonated a lot more because it was talking about more things like the politicians that you think are gurus, you know, like it was more universal than you thinking about the shit stick and everything is on the equal level. You know what I'm saying? It's a different
Exactly.
video, you know? Yeah. All right, let's bring up Mr. Richard Blake, our special guest, and we have our co-host Cisco, and we got a new co-host Josh. Why are you laughing, Cisco? Richard.
He's ripping a bone.
Richard, look at this handsome
Richard.
man, guys. Guys, this guy was an
Damn.
ex men's health model. No good. He was the cover guy.
Long time ago.
You look the part.
Chad.
Damn, bro. Welcome to Vibe Sesh 16, Richard.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. How you feeling?
I'm good. Yeah. It's been a long day, but happy to be here.
Yeah. You nervous? How you feeling? How's your vibes?
I think it's good. Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know. What do you think? Am I giving off bad vibes?
No, you're giving off very
I
like
can feel your
serious
light
vibes.
Serious vibes.
Serious vibes, like especially in your videos, you know, like I am a little bit like that too. I'm like vibe samurai, I'm the monk, but then here I'm just like, woo.
I can
You know
tell.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Okay, I'll keep it loose then.
All right, keep it loose, bro. So I took your test. So everybody, please follow Richard. Amazing follow. He has a bunch of different things on his link tree, and I took your 2-minute mental health audit.
Yeah, what do you think?
I got 76 out of 100. Is that good?
That's pretty good. Yeah,
That's
pretty
good.
Yeah.
Wow. I said I'm well defended. That's the category. 76,
Yes.
well defended. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Well defended, actually. Why well defended?
Yeah, well, I guess I kind of sometimes I see mental health as like things that can harm your mental health and then buffers against mental health. So good habits, good community, good diet, all those things. And I'm just kind of making sure people have enough buffers and not too many things that can be harming their mental health.
Yeah. So, like I saw your report and it said that I apparently need more daylight, more nature, more hugs and affection. I feel like I get enough. Wow, interesting. And more time with my cat. Damn. Interesting. Yeah. How worried should we be, Richard?
Well, I think with a score of 76, you should be fine. But yeah, it's obviously, different people, especially genetics. Some people have to work much harder on their mental health than others. Some people need a lot more buffers than others. So it depends where you're at, genetically.
One question that I really love, Richard, there was 26 questions when I had to get to this score, but I think it was like question number 3, which was very synchronistic because I just made a video about awe because I'm reading the book Awe by Dr. Keltner. Are you familiar with his book?
No.
No, you gotta read it, bro. Maybe it's recent or something, but anyway, he was on the Huberman podcast and everything. I made a video about that whole thing, and then I'm taking this test, and you're like, how often do you feel genuine awe or wonder is one of your questions, but I never hear you talking about it in your videos. So tell me what you think of awe and wonder, especially because you didn't read that book. So I'm wondering what you're getting at with that question.
Yeah, so I did a randomized control trial on breathwork as a treatment for anxiety, and the breathwork that I did the study on is called Conscious Connected Breathing, and it's the one that's sort of like a psychedelic experience. So there's a lot of the same mechanisms that happen with this type of breathwork and psychedelics like mushrooms and ayahuasca. And one of the sort of hypothesized mechanisms of action for why psychedelics are so good for mental health is because it creates that feeling of awe. So I was sort of transposing that where you get awe from ayahuasca and mushrooms, you get awe from breath work. Are we getting enough awe in our day-to-day lives? And of course you can get awe from many things, seeing the Grand Canyon, going to church, seeing your child for the first time. Like there's lots of ways to get awe.
Cisco, what is the most awe? When do you feel awe? I'm curious.
I feel like I've been more struggling with that because of constant rumination. but the walking I've been putting myself through with just no headphones, no stimulation, and focusing on the breath, that's been kind of my version of like, the past doesn't exist, the future doesn't exist, just right now. And then I try to so I'm practicing. I'm not like experiencing awe, all the time, but I'm trying to get there, I guess.
Good.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about this book and what I talk about in the video is that the book, it's a lot of research behind it, and it talks about how like awe is measurable and it's trainable. Right. So you think the awe is just like, well, looking at the Andes or the Grand Canyon or something like that. But like Richard said, it could be, like some psychedelics. It could be, watching a big mountain. So you need that scenery. Or a big one is, I forget what it's called, moral beauty or something like that. When you see someone do something courageous and, beat all odds, that brings up awe in you. Right. Like, so there's many different ways. And so for me, I was talking in the video that I wake up every day in awe. And one of the reasons is because I have AI to like talk about anything I want. And it's like expanding my mind, and whatever I learn, I want to share with you guys. And I've created a little awe machine, right? And so
I have to agree.
Yeah, so you can, what do you think, Richard? I know. Sorry.
Yeah, I think like I don't cry much, but when I see something like amazing, like humans doing amazing things, that like makes me well up more than anything. Sometimes I feel like I need to cry, like I haven't cried in like a year, and I'm like, I should probably cry and just make sure I still can, to like almost like unblock the system. And so there's this, I think it's Derek Redmond. He was running the 400 meters in the 1990 Barcelona Olympics. He's a British guy, and he was in the final, and he pulls his hamstring in the final, and he's like, "What should I do? Oh, this is really hard." He was like on the floor writhing in pain, and then he starts to like hop to the finish line, and then you see some commotion in the crowd, and someone's like kind of arguing with the security guard, and it's like, "No, I'm his dad. I'm his dad," and the dad runs on to the track and like carries his son around the 400-meter track, and Derek is like crying his eyes out, and the dad's crying his eyes out, and I'm crying my eyes out, and I feel better after it.
Damn.
Wow.
That's
deep.
Bro, that was super detailed example of where you got. Damn, Richard, amazing. Yeah. What do you think, Josh? Any thoughts?
Personally, on the awe, I feel like I've been struggling with that. I mean, you can see my hat. When you said psychedelics, that piques my interest, because the only, like you said, I forget your name.
Cisco.
Yes, Cisco. That was the name of my dog. Crazy, because we named him from the Flash show. But anyway, yes, like the awe, when you mentioned psychedelics, I feel so like what you said, rumination. That's all I can do when I'm not high on a psychedelic, I feel. Because the mundanity or the mundane nature of life, going to work, waking up early just to get money to pay for this place here and to pay for vices, it just feels so mundane, So I seek awe through intense psychedelic experiences, intense, like almost abusing acid. I know that's not a thing you can do technically, because it's not an addictive substance, but I look forward and even crave those 2 weeks to go by so I can just feel on top of the earth, so I can just feel like everything is new again. So I almost feel like I'm addicted to awe. That's why I drink every day. Like I need that new experience, nuance. I need that
nuance. We're missing nuance nowadays. What do you think, Richard, about what Josh?
I feel quite sad that you have to go through that to get through life. I've certainly been there. I'm wondering if you've tried to sort of go the opposite direction and sort of just appreciate the sort of the more boring things in life, reading a book, sitting in nature, mindfulness meditation, if that ever's worked for you.
The small moments. Yes, I have tried. It's like it's weird because when you have those small moments, you're like, oh, I could exist forever with just this. But then the next morning you wake up and you have that like dread in your head. And the only thing that can solve that is, getting high. And like, I think you said multiple times, I think it's moments pass. Those moments can pass. Like even the sexual urges with porn and stuff like that. You'll have that. You'll be scrolling and see like a random AI porn ad because of how fucked up Instagram is nowadays. And you'll be like, oh, I got like, there's even a fucking GIF for it. Like, hopping over to Safari or like after you're on Instagram. And I think those moments I've realized they can pass if I just let them, So yeah, I've been trying to get more into that mindset of just trying to enjoy those small moments and realizing that not every moment has to be awe. Like I forget who said it, but not every moment has to be.
Right. Huge. I love that. Not every moment has to be awe. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes. It's unfortunate, but that's life, right? Sometimes it's just looking at my cat. That's, good enough.
Yeah. I'm also wondering if you've ever tried dopamine fasting.
I haven't.
Ooh, that sounds rough.
Well, may I explain just a little bit? Yeah. It's not an excuse, but I have like what they called extreme ADHD, and my girlfriend's mother thinks I'm undiagnosed autism. Like a diagnosis, humans can't diagnose shit. And honestly, they can't like one person will tell me one thing, the other person will tell me another. So, but I do know I have a dopamine lack thereof, if you will. So I feel like I need to fill it in with, I forget who said, I think you did, Cisco, something about music, or was that you? I feel like music, as soon as I wake up, I have an AirPod in.
Wow.
So right here. Yeah, I have heavy music going just immediately. So I feel like I have that dopamine lack. So I have to fill it in with this, with DXM even. Recently, I've relapsed on that because it's so intense.
DXM? What's DXM?
DXM is the main component in Robitussin, cough syrup, stuff like that. But there's this company that makes completely free base, like it's just the chemical itself. It's called Robo tablets. It's fucked up to even buy, but it's so cheap and very effective. 5 can get you fried, like out of your mind, disassociated like ketamine. And to me, I feel like I need that. I was in a very long depressive streak because I quit that stuff. And then when I went back on it, it sucks to say, but I got happier. Like, I don't know. It felt like there was something missing, and that filled that gap. That need for awe. My acid plug is also, he stopped. So I don't have that. So all I got is DXM, weed, and alcohol. And I try to cram that as much as I possibly can, just to seek that awe.
Wow. Richard, what do you think? Wow. Oh my
Sorry,
God. Because we're going to talk about therapy. We're going to talk about, labels and identity. And wow, there was so much there, Richard. I don't know if you were able to process
I'm sorry,
it.
brother.
Wow. Go ahead, Richard.
No, thank you for sharing. I guess I'm thinking it's sort of like an arms race, you versus dopamine, and with neurotransmitters and neuromodulators and synapses, it's like the more dopamine you get, the more you need, the more you go get, and it's just a never-ending spiral. And what actually might help is that that kind of reset, 10-day Vipassana meditation, 10-day silent meditation, some float tanks, those types of things to take your baseline dopamine back down to a more manageable level. Don't know if you ever consider that. Darkness retreats, you can get some of that awe in darkness retreats as well.
You've done darkness retreat?
I've not done a darkness. I've done a 10-day Vipassana, but haven't quite got the coverage for that.
Got it. Hey, but Richard, so let's talk about your story because you're kind of like, your account is what would you say, anti-establishment kind of thing, Freud versus Adler, and let's talk about your most viral video. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Why you think it went viral? Let's talk about Freud versus Adler. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I posited a question. What if the mental health crisis exists because we followed the wrong guy? I.e., we follow Freud instead of Adler, and this is it's not a historically accurate take. We followed a bit of Freud, we followed a bit of Adler, but most therapy and therapy culture stuff is more Freud based than it is Adler based, and a lot of therapy, I would say, especially now with sort of modern trauma theory and Gabor Mate and Bessel van der Kolk over the last sort of 10 years has been like the cause of all your problems is something that happened to you. Someone did something to you, rather than, well, what are you doing right now? What are your habits? That's why I created that quiz. What are the things that are harming your mental health? And what are the things you're not doing that could be buffering your mental health? And Adler was kind of more like, well, yeah, your past matters to some extent, but let's focus on the now and the future to get rid of the help with those mental health issues. And I wouldn't say I'm necessarily anti-establishment. I work for a coalition, or I'm sorry, I volunteer for a coalition of mental health professionals, and we're trying to course correct therapy. I'm not as sort of anti-establishment as some of my friends, let's say, the somatic therapists and the psychedelic instructors and things like that. I would say they're full on anti-establishment. I'm more like, let's work with the establishment and kind of
yeah, interesting. Hey, but so what is the difference between, so past-based, but Adler? Tell us more, because he's less familiar than Freud, right? So what are kind of his most important ideas, would you say? Because you talk about him a lot. So yeah, why don't you go over that? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I'm not a full expert on Adler. I studied him. I did 2 years of a master's in psychotherapy, and then was like, this is not that good. I'm going to go do a research track, and I did PhD in transpersonal psychology. But yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about what sort of brought me to that. It was actually more Thomas Saz. If you want someone who's anti-establishment, read some Thomas Saz. He's written a load of books, and he basically was like, we don't have an epidemic of mental illness, we have an epidemic of psychiatry. It's yeah.
Epidemic of psychiatry. Damn, oh my God, that is so true. I have a buddy in Brazil who's like killing it, and he basically started in Brazil from scratch 7 years ago, an online site where you can find therapists for cheap. So like he promised, he puts a ceiling on the therapist thing, and there's like hundreds of thousands of graduates every year, and everyone wants to use the therapy. They want a cheap therapist. And so his business has grown, right? It's crazy, things like that. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. So I was studying psychotherapy, writing essays, and I would be like, therapy's the best. Everyone needs therapy. Everyone should go to therapy. Wow. And I started looking at, I also found this guy, Pim Kuipers, he's a really sort of famous academic. And he was like, well, actually the effectiveness or the success rate of therapy for anxiety is about 45%. And then if you look at relapse rates, that's also about 48%. And then if you look at publication bias, all the studies that found no effective therapy, my math is that it's got about an 80% failure rate. And then I did all the thing all the therapists do, and they're like, oh, they're not using the right therapy.
Yes, I was gonna say that. Yes.
Yeah.
You got the low quality ones in the studies, right? What about
so that's where the dodo effect is the answer to that. So so another big meta-analysis compared all different forms of therapy and found they all work just about the same. They called it the dodo effect because of in Alice in Wonderland, there's the dodo, there's a race, and he goes, everyone wins, everyone gets a prize. And that's how it is with therapy. They all work just about the same.
The dodo effect, I love it. Everybody wins. Yeah.
Yeah, so then I did the other thing. Is like, oh yeah, the reason that they don't work that well in the studies is because they just don't do long enough therapy. Then I found other studies that show after about 8 sessions to 20 sessions, the effects of therapy basically plateaus, diminishing returns. So every avenue I went down of like trying to defend therapy because I was going to become a therapist, I just got slapped down with a meta-analysis, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm just going to go research breath work. I think it works really well. I'm going to go test that.
Bro, but how was that? Because you're a psychologist PhD. I mean, how did that feel to? And how were you able to, and we'll get into this discussion later, but you had to be very honest with yourself, because you're like, you got some cost in there, right? You've like dedicated your life, right? And then you're finding this data, and you're actually willing. I mean, was it hard to see the data, or were you like angry and like, no, this can't be right? What was the emotion you were
Yeah.
going through? Yeah.
I was in denial for about a year, and then I actually did a float tank. Speaking of float tanks, and it came to me, I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I can't pretend that this is really effective, that I should dedicate another 4 or 5 years to becoming a therapist. So I took a pause. I actually went traveling. I went and spent a month doing ayahuasca in Peru, and sort of doing a little bit of an apprenticeship. And that's when I was like, breath work is the thing for me. I had, conversations with ayahuasca. I was like, should I research ayahuasca? And they're like, no, bro, you go do breath work. We've got enough ayahuasca research.
Ayahuasca told you to do better work. It told you to do.
Yeah.
Did you go in there wanting to ask that question? Were you intentional about it? Meaning,
Yeah. I mean, I was there for a month. I've done a lot of ceremonies, and I can't remember exactly if I was like, what should I do? It was at a time where I was like, yeah, what should I do? I'm taking a pause from my psychotherapy. It was supposed to be a 1-year pause, but then I applied to this other program and did the PhD instead. My wife is a therapist. My sister-in-law is a therapist. My ex-girlfriend is a therapist. One of my best friends is a therapist. So going against all of that.
You must be fun at dinners, huh?
Yeah.
You must be so fun at dinners, bro. Wow. Amazing. Cisco, you have something?
Yeah. How often was the ayahuasca? Because you were there for 30 days, and then is it every day or is it once a week? Like, what's the?
I think it was three a week. So yeah, it was 12 in a month.
3 a week. But wait, so when ayahuasca told you do breath work, like you got sober and you're like, that's it? Like, I feel it. Like, what's that feeling like when you do breath work? And did it take time to sink in? Is my question.
Yeah.
Did it take? Mm-hmm.
So I was already trained as a breath worker. I'd already certified as that. So I was kind of being like, I'm going to get a psychotherapy master's to give me more credentials, and I'll do the breath work as well. But then, I kind of realized, no, just research breath work, and then see where we get from there. And I felt like that was a huge risk as well, because I really wanted to do it honestly. And a lot of my good friends are breath workers as well. So I'd wake up at night being like, oh man, what if I find breath work doesn't do anything at all? I'd ruin everyone's career.
What if they find the studies, bro? Imagine he finds some massive study that says breath work is bullshit. He's like, oh, damn. Oh, man, that's amazing.
How long is those credentials for breath work? Like, how deep does it go? I'm kind of curious. I didn't think.
How long was the training I did?
Like, yeah, I guess, because I mean, I guess to the average person, you never think there's a whole career in it, I guess.
In breath work? Why?
Just that is a skill. Like, I didn't realize that's a skill.
Off method from YouTube.
Yes. Yeah. So there's quite a few, I should explain. Like, there's quite a few different techniques of breath work. So
let's talk about that.
There's Wim Hof, which is great. It's really cool.
Yeah,
I'm trained in Soma breath work as well. There's functional breathing. So it's like increasing your tolerance to carbon dioxide, making sure your diaphragm is working. Those types of things, which are really great for sort of asthma and panic disorders and chronic breathing disorders. But the one I actually did my study on was this one that's like, it's like a ceremony. You breathe faster than normal, you're lying down, you go into altered states, you have psychedelic-like effects, you have emotional releases. So for that, so I'm actually a part of a teacher training school called Breath Guru, and I teach some modules on there. And that's a 9 to 12 month training. And there is a real problem that because there's no licensing bodies for breath work, some people are selling online certifications for weekend training, and they're harming people, and people are getting re-traumatized, and it's giving the whole breathwork industry a really bad reputation. And so we're all trying to raise the standards, but then there's always people who are trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on nowadays on social media, like these gurus, right, that are big on Instagram, and they do plant ceremonies and somebody dies. That was some guy, right? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, Wim Hof is the sort of the one that's led to most deaths, because Wim Hof, includes the cold water swimming.
Right, right.
So people do Wim Hof and then they swim or they dive. And what they don't realize is, like, if you're doing free diving, you don't do Wim Hof, you don't hyperventilate, you just slow your breathing right down, because you need that carbon dioxide to trigger your urge to breathe. But when you're doing Wim Hof, you blow off all of your CO2, so you've got 100% oxygen. So there's no cue to trigger breathing. So people stay underwater for too long and then they drown. So quite a few people have done that. So never do breath work in water is the answer.
Noted. Himself is bad.
Noted. What's that?
It's not Wim Hof himself that's preaching pseudoscience or anything like that, right? It's just their bodies couldn't handle, or
he tells people specifically, do not do this in water, as people just
do. Oh, he does. Okay, obviously.
I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
I follow him.
Yeah. Richard, let me ask you something, because like you talk a lot about Freud and you talk about Adler, which most people have not, are not as familiar. But why do you not talk about Carl Jung?
I do.
He's blowing up the internet. Everybody, Jung this and quote all kinds of quotes from him. Yeah, like what do you think about him? And yeah. Tell me about Carl Jung.
Yeah. I do talk about Carl Jung. It's just those reels haven't done very well, probably because I didn't present them very well. But I read the Red Book. I did a whole module for my PhD on Jung. I like it as a sort of model for curing mental illness. Again, it's the dodo effect. It's not really any more effective than any of the other things. But what I think is really key and is missing from a lot of CBT and standard treatments is, like, spirituality is really a really strong buffer against mental illness, and that sense of awe is really important as well. But the key, so there was this quite cool study they did. They compared atheists, spiritual but not religious people, and religious people, and they found that religious people were, like, by far the most mentally healthy. And then they kind of delved into a little bit deeper, and it's like, it's not that being religious is a buffer against mental illness, is that practicing rituals in community is so important. So you can be spiritual, not religious, but you've got to go to your breathwork ceremony every week. You've got to meet up with people. You've got to do service. You've got to do all the things that religion does. So that's the sort of key, is like, people say they're spiritual, but they're not really doing anything spiritual. They're just having those opinions.
Damn. So you think like modern spirituality, ungrounded spirituality, has this dynamic going on, you think, where there's no ritual and it's just like, I'm aware and whatever, and people aren't doing the rituals, the work, almost, right? People are not, I don't know. How do you interpret that?
I think it's sort of, modern spirituality has kind of been co-opted by social media. So people are doing performative stuff, and that's not really what helps mental illness. Narcissism and sort of individualism is huge in society. So spiritualism has gone into that. Spirituality has gone into that more individualistic thing. The spirituality that does teach or preach community, giving back, volunteering, speaking to your friends, doing things for other people, prayer, meditation, regular practice, whatever it is, that's the key, the regular practices, rather than just once a month I go to someone's house and we talk about Jung.
Right. But Richard, I have here, because you're talking about like the meaning vacuum, right? And you said here, you said that religion and even faith in capitalism and progress have weakened, leaving a vacuum of meaning. And into the vacuum come victim culture and the healing journey.
Yes.
Tell us about that. Yeah. So, it's like a hero's arc, you're saying. So tell me so what you're saying is the whole victim culture, the healing journey follows a certain hero's journey. Okay, yeah, walk me through that.
Yeah, sorry, which video was that from? Did I say that? In what context was I saying that?
You were saying it. I forget. It was some YouTube video. You don't remember saying that?
I mean, I've done a lot of reels, so
Yeah.
it definitely sounds like something I would say, yeah. But I'm just trying to think of the wider context. Normally, I add in captions like,
Yeah. But you're saying
more
there's a meaning
context.
vacuum, right? There's a
Yeah,
meaning vacuum. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
And it's just a spirituality thing. Like we're just less religious. We're more secular nowadays, or what else is,
Yeah,
and the individuality you were saying, right? Yeah.
Dualism.
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, so I think, in the past, religions gave us meaning, whichever religion. Then capitalism gave people meaning, I think, for a long time, but it
Mm,
hasn't worked out for enough people. And a lot of people are
mm.
quite dissatisfied with it. It's obviously worked out for a lot of people. I'm not saying we shouldn't be capitalist. I'm not saying there's a better system, but certainly is not, a lot of people are dissatisfied with it, and hence there is a meaning crisis as well. We have, birth rate collapse. I think a lot of people get meaning or got meaning from raising their kids, and now a lot of people
Mm.
are choosing not to have kids, so that's another source of meaning that is going down. And I think, yeah, the social justice movements is a great way to find meaning, for some people. And yeah, some people are getting very, very into that, rightly or wrongly.
Mm.
Yeah, and even in one of your videos, you were saying that therapists 90% are liberal and 6% conservative.
That was
Yeah.
shocking. That was
That's
shocking.
filling in. That's filling in the
Me
vacuum,
personally.
basically.
Yeah, so that's not, obviously, not a criticism of liberalism or promotion of conservatism,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
these are the people who are promoting diversity as like a holy
Mm.
good. Like, diversity is good no matter what, but then there's no diversity within their own enterprise.
Like
And
intellectually, right? Intellectually, right?
yeah,
Oh no, he
Oh
freeze.
no. Oh
Oh
no,
no.
he's frozen.
Oh
Oh
no.
no, we lost him. This
You're
is
frozen.
you're
You're frozen,
frozen,
bro.
man.
Maybe his phone died or something. Maybe he got a phone call.
Hmm.
All right. Well, we have some
All right. What do you think,
difficulties.
Josh? What do you think, Josh and Cisco? What do you think?
I have a lot to say, I feel, about that.
Mm. Mm.
Like,
Okay. Oh, damn, he has to come back up though. Okay, let me see. Wait for Richard,
well, I
bro. I
kind of want
feel
to
like you're
personally
gonna
ask
cook.
him.
Yeah, you're gonna cook, aren't you? I can't wait to see what this Josh is gonna ask.
No.
Bro,
Can
Richard,
I
come on.
personally, can I personally
Yeah,
ask you, Black
police.
Samurai?
What?
But what did you think he meant by that? Like, is it we're searching for, like, even the conservatives, the liberals, they search for meaning through their message, right? And then
Hmm.
eventually that wears off. Christians, they go to church to seek that, the awe that we were talking about earlier. So
Mm.
is that all it is? It's like it's a honeymoon period for religion, for spirituality, for anything. And
Mm.
I feel like I cut straight to the chase when I tried saying my hedonism was okay. My, like, not even hedonism, because they want to avoid suffering through no addiction, but
Mm-hmm.
still using drugs, blah, blah, blah. I became like a radical hedonist because I'm like, why would I even go to church when that's just a temporary feeling, when I can be drunk all day
Mm.
and get that same awe, basically. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering what his thoughts were. Like, what is the answer then? What do I do?
Richard, I'm trying to bring you up. That's what I want to ask Richard. That's a great question, bro. That's a great question because we've
Very.
identified the problem and
Mm-hmm.
what's the solution? Like, let's talk about solutions, right? Like, what can we do here? Right?
But I mean, there has to be, right? There has to be.
There is. There is. I
I'm
trust
young.
Richard. Yeah, you're
I
young,
trust
bro.
Richard.
How old are you, baby?
I am 22.
Damn, bro. Damn, little baby, bro. He's younger than you, Cisco.
I'm 25.
He's your
Oh,
older brother, bro. Hey,
to
Breath.
this stuff though.
Oh no, maybe we have to redo the room. So let me cancel an invite and I'm gonna invite you, Richard. I
Yeah.
invited you. We're waiting
Yeah,
for
I
the
guess my two
solutions.
cents before Richard. I would say I'm kind of struggling too, like leaning towards bad habits to run away from discomfort. So I'm trying to practice boredom because you can't avoid it. Like,
that is,
life is
yes.
fucking boring, bro. It's not full of awe. It's mostly boring.
Mm.
But you stumble into awe by being
Richard,
bored.
I sent you an invite, Richard. Accept.
That's good, though.
If not, we're gonna have to like restart this room because I don't know. There's a bug. Richard is trying to get up.
I feel like, yeah, you can just close the live and then I watched some live, not many, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
if he still says he can't, then yeah, let's restart.
Hey, leave a comment,
I will be
Richard.
here.
Are you not?
Richard, you hear it? But
All right.
yeah, so
Your
my
account.
version of that, because I can't sit down right now, I'm walking. Just no headphones. Like, you're forcing yourself to be bored, and I go like on an hour walk. I go somewhere far and come back. And
how long does that discomfort last? Of like, I need music, like I really like that craving.
the whole time.
And you're just supposed to go through that?
You gotta raw dog it, bro.
Yeah, I've heard
Richard,
that.
I'm trying to. Okay, maybe we have to
Straight
close the
up,
room, guys.
like-
I'm gonna close the room.
Dude, we're having such a good conversation, though.
I know, but we need Richard. He has the
We need
solutions,
Richard.
guys. Okay, hey guys, I'm gonna close the room and we're gonna come back because Richard can't come back up. Okay, everybody, come back.
Rejoin everybody.
All right, we're back, baby. Yeah, let's go.
Sorry,
So, Josh, fill in Richard.
I heard a little bit, but yeah, I agree that with the boredom thing, I think that is a great strategy. Get comfortable with boredom. How's that been going for you?
Sucks, but it's like a necessary, because I'm realizing how unconsciously reactive I am to thoughts being generated, and then I'm the spotlight that gets to choose its focus on it. But you know, between stimulus and response, the gap is your freedom that Bruno's taught me. But like, I go instant into every thought, and so that has allowed me to, and I'm trying my best to focus on my breath, but whether it's like a person or like work stuff, it just consumes, and I navigate it, and then I catch myself and I'm like, okay, wait, let's kind of detach. Let's not label things. And then so I'm not perfect, but I just have to force myself. Like, I think the hypnotic rhythm of walking is a lot easier to get your focus going because your blood's pumping, and then focus on the breath. Because sitting down for me just right now is a little, you know, maybe I could do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but I could do an hour walk. I could just look at shit. Something close to me. I had one of my dad's good friends. He was like, when you're on walks, and your brain's all fucking fuzzy, he's like, just focus on something close to you, focus something far away, and try to find something in the middle, and kind of just keep bouncing your attention. So I kind of use that here and there, but breath work, I'm very amateur. I haven't even looked it up. But
you do breath work when you're walking? Yeah. What do you do while you're walking? I exhale
longer than I inhale. That's what I do.
Why do you do that?
I just heard that's a way to like calm you down. I saw him on like.
Well, we got Mr. Breath expert here, so let's ask him all the breath questions. Yeah,
sure. We can get technical. So there's you know the autonomic nervous system is right. The automatic nervous system. So you can't really control your heart. You can't really control your nervous system. There are two ways to indirectly control the nervous system. One is contraction and release. So like if you've ever done a yoga nidra session, they'll tell you like contract your right bicep and release it. That is relaxing to the nervous system. The other one is breath control. So just like, is it Josh? Is that your right? Is that
no, there's Cisco on the top and Josh over here. Yeah, on the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, Cisco is on the bottom for me. But yeah, Josh and Cisco. As Josh said, controlling the breath, slowing it down is one way to indirectly affect the autonomic nervous system. So that's where these sort of two different stems of breath work come. So there's the slower than normal breathing. That's what calms people down. That's the 4-7-8 breath, the box breathing. Then you have the faster than normal breathing. That is actually like excitatory. It's actually slightly stressful. That's what Wim Hof is doing. That's what Conscious Connected Breathwork is doing. It's an initial hormetic stressor. It makes the body have a little bit of acute stress, but then the body overreacts in a positive way. So by rewarding you with relaxation, with dopamine and all those things, And that hormesis is the same principle as ice baths, exercise, sauna, fasting, all these things, these really good practices. And yeah, I wanted to talk about to Cisco about dopamine, the dopamine seesaw. This is a concept from the book Dopamine Nation. It's a really good book, but basically, you can get dopamine for free and then feel bad afterwards, or you can feel bad and get dopamine afterwards. So free dopamine is scrolling on TikTok, shopping, porn, chocolate, alcohol. All those things give you dopamine, but then you feel like shit afterwards. If you feel like shit first, like doing an ice bath, doing a sauna, doing a hard workout, doing a breath hold, you feel better after, and you feel better for much longer. So I think that's a really useful principle that I try and live my life by. If I've been addicted, like I used to have food addiction. I would just be manically going for food. I'd manically shop. I'd manically game. And now I know that when I get into that state, it's like, right, don't add more chocolate, don't add more ice cream. These are my big vices.
Chocolate and ice cream? What kind of ice cream, brother? What kind of ice cream?
Well, I try to be kind of healthy. I'm doing like protein pints. I don't know if they're kind of like a healthy
I'm
ice
saying
cream.
during your moment when you were going crazy, what was the thing that you would reach for? Ice cream.
All of them, all the ice creams.
Damn, that's serious. You've been like Haagen-Dazs and Ben and Jerry's and all that. Ice cream is so good, guys. Ice cream is so fucking good. I can eat a whole pint like in no time. Damn. Yeah.
Definitely an addiction. Yeah.
But Josh, so you were going to ask? Oh, I'm sorry. He was addressing this. Man, so many topics, man. Richard, can you give us any kind of like breathing thing that we can do now? A lot of times, you know, we had poets read their poetry. We had writers read their thing and showing off their thing. Do you have anything for us that we could do now?
Yeah. I saw Andrew Huberman follows you. Do you know him?
Yeah. I told you he followed me, and then I made a video about him today. Yeah, I follow him now. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, no, he follows me as well, but I don't think he really follows me.
What do you mean? He only follows 2,000 people, bro. We're in an elite club.
Maybe.
2,000 people. He has 7 million followers, and we're 2,000. Joe Rogan has 6,000, and he follows me.
Yeah, I know. Amazing. Congratulations. I'm jealous.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah. So Huberman did a study on breathwork, kind of comparing a few different breathwork techniques and meditation techniques and what was most effective. And what he found was the cyclical sigh was the most effective one. And that's
that one.
You know that one. Yeah.
But let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it. So you don't have to have your eyes closed. You can have your eyes closed. If you don't want to have them closed, just keep your eyes at sort of like 10 and 2 on the clock. Keep a soft focus. And what you're going to do is you're going to take in a long, slow inhale through your nose, and then a second inhale at the top of the inhale. So it's like this. It goes like. And so what that's doing is you're breathing in slowly, which is signaling to your nervous system, well, if we can breathe slow, we can relax. But that extra, like at the top, pops open the alveoli, which are, it's kind of sacs in our lungs where the gas exchange happens. And then you're going to do a long, slow exhale. So it comes back to Josh's point about slowing that exhale down. That is another signal to the nervous system that we can relax. So let's do it 2 times. So here we go. Let's take it in, long, slow inhale through the nose. And then extra. And then long, slow exhale through the nose or the mouth. Slow it down as much as you can. And then again, long, slow inhale through the nose. Extra inhale at the top. Long, slow exhale through the mouth or the nose.
You have to forgive me, I have asthma.
Okay. Well, I have breathing techniques for that as well.
Wow. What did you think, Cisco? Wow.
I mean, I feel a little relaxed. Yeah. It was so hard to do that extra inhale.
It's hard, right? Yeah.
Because I'm at the cap.
Intoxicated.
Yeah. So that obviously that's super, super short. A conscious connected breathwork session is like 90 minutes. the longer that you do it, the better. That's one I can kind of do. You know, I'm sitting on the train or sitting in traffic. You can do that one to just sort of chill you out in the moment.
Nice. Guys, hey, Richard, let's talk about your other favorite topic. Okay, estrangement. You talk a lot about estrangement. Tell us about what you think. Why do you talk so much about it? Because it is very interesting. Because at first I was watching your videos and I'm like, why is this guy talking so much about? But then I understood why and how it's related to internet culture and AI speak, and these memes are traveling. It's so fascinating. So why don't you set us up with estrangement and why you're focused on it? And what do you think is going on with that?
Yeah. So
what do you define estrangement as?
Yeah, so no contact between a parent and a child. So yeah, I've written a book. It's called Cut Off. It's coming out in about 8 weeks.
Buy the book, guys.
Buy the book. Cutoffbook.com. You can sign up on the wait list there. And yeah, so so part of this work we do at Ethical Standards for Mental Health, this non-profit, is really we're looking at the broader picture of, you know, why therapy and therapy culture is making people worse rather than better. That's the treatment prevalence paradox. So this is the only area of medicine where, despite more awareness, more people in treatment, more therapy than any point in history, mental illness keeps getting worse. Whereas cancer, heart disease, the more people who go into treatment, the more people who get better. So one of the main side effects of this therapy culture seems to be an increase in family estrangement. In the past, it used to be, you know, dad's gone out for a pack of cigarettes, and that was, you know, he went for cigarettes in 1982 and he hasn't been back since, right? That was used to be the joke. Whereas now it's adult children, what we call it grown-ups, but, you know, they're children of their parents, cutting off their parents. And it seems to be driven a lot by therapists. My colleague Peter Anderson, who was actually just on NBC News about 2 hours ago, talking about this survey we conducted, 7,000 parents, at least 30% of them suggested that it was therapy that led to their estrangement. And like I said earlier about Freud versus Adler, this ties into the whole victim culture. It's like, if you don't have a clear explanation for why you're struggling in life right now, therapy has already made answer. Your parents did do things, and if they didn't do things, it was the things they didn't do. So it's basically, they found a culprit and they'll find a reason to blame your parents, even when they weren't necessarily that bad. And of course, I have to say, you know, a lot of parents are, not a lot, but some parents are seriously abusive and violent and neglectful. I'm not talking about those people. But what seems to have happened is abuse and neglect have gone down enormously. Even since 1990, it's gone down 53% and 60%. But then more and more people are claiming abuse. So it used to be abuse was defined as, you know, the extreme end, the ceiling, persistent violent abuse, persistent sexual abuse, persistent emotional abuse. But the floor now has dropped to, my dad slapped me in 1995. My mum gave me a slap bottom when I was 11 years old. That was violent abuse. Therefore, abuse means you cut off your parents. So crime is no longer fitting the punishment. I've written a whole book on this. I could go into many different directions, but that's just one.
But Richard, so it's the thing though that you have to help me understand is like, but where is that line, right? Like, where is that line? And a lot of things that you talk about, I agree with, right? But I'm just like, but there's a line. There's a line. When you say I agree with you. The violence stuff, very obvious. But let me give you a friend of mine that was. So I'll leave out different details. But basically, her parents. She's 49, right? And she's been living like what she considers hell for all this time, where the parents are really like, they love her so much, they're smothering her, they're suffocating her, they want her to call them like literally 5 times a day, you know, checking in and they show up to her workplace where if she travels for work, they show up to the hotel unannounced, right? And just things like that. And you can just tell that she's suffering, right? She's 49 years old. And she was coming to me, and she has no boundaries, right? So she can't even tell them, or she has told them, but they don't listen, right? Now, stop it. I can just call you once a day, not 5 times a day, right? And so you could see obvious pain and suffering. And she even said too, like she is very spiritual, right? Very spiritual. She's done all the courses, she's read all the books, and she thought certain things might be working, but then it relapses again, right? And there's no real change. And so what is that in your thing? Like, where's the line there? Is that basis for estrangement and putting strong boundaries on? Or maybe don't estrange, don't leave them, but really put the boundaries on, which is what I advised her. Like, you should do little boundaries. So they're doing a lot of different things, but just choose one thing, build that muscle, build that evidence that you can hold the boundary, and nothing's gonna, because they're predicting catastrophe, right? You talk about this a lot too. And so you need to build evidence to say you put up some kind of boundary and nothing bad happened, right? Like, and the problem is the mother is always like making believe like she has some cancer if you don't get back to her. So what do you do in that situation, Richard?
Yeah, so was it Dostoevsky said, every happy family is happy in the same way, every unhappy family is unhappy for a different reason. So this is why it becomes quite difficult to talk about individual cases. So that's why I'm a researcher and I don't work one-to-one with people, because it's very complicated. But yeah, that certainly sounds like a really difficult situation. What I would refer to is Murray Bowen, who wrote a lot about attachment theory. Well, I think he came up with attachment theory, but he was like, the person who cuts off their parents doesn't become free from that pattern. They just redo that pattern with someone else. The key is to grow within the relationship. The key is to learn to tolerate and manage that relationship rather than cut them off and then just have the same thing happen with someone else.
Okay, but what about in that case for like putting that borders? My advice to her about placing that.
Yeah, completely reasonable. Yeah, boundaries are very reasonable. What I talk about is sort of the misuse of boundaries. Like, boundaries is there to sort of protect vulnerable people from people taking advantage of them. Now it's become a thing for like smart and cunning people to use it to get what they want or to not have to do things they don't want to do.
That's dark psychology right there, right?
Yeah, well, if you look at the research on who does the most cut-offs, they actually score the highest in the dark tetrads. So psychopathy, Machiavellianism, narcissism, and sadism. So especially like people who have like 10 or more cut-offs. So there's a lot of influencers being like, I cut off my mum and my dad and my cousin and my brother and my grandma. Like, they probably have dark triad personality traits. It's like, it's not. I love that saying.
Bro, Richard, I made 2 videos: access denied and access denied family edition. And I think it was one of my most viral videos. And I think I got it all wrong. I'm going to have to apologize tomorrow. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. That's so crazy. Hey, but you think like, but my original video, Access Denied, I was really talking about the reason why I made the family edition was people were asking me, what do I do? You know, because I was saying, like, in today's world, like I like blocking people very quickly. I don't have a lot of tolerance for bullshit. I feel like I'm 51 and I know what's going on. Maybe that's advice for a younger person. I don't know. But I feel like I can tell, and I'm like, access denied. Like, you know, like I just see some sign and I feel the sign you got issues. Access denied. What do you think about that? Or is that also,
I would say on social media, it's perfectly reasonable to block people. But family is one of the strongest buffers against mental health. So poor family relationships are as bad as smoking for your health. They're real health events. But then I also love that saying, if everywhere you go you think people are dickheads, you're probably the dickhead.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. So do you believe that blood is thicker than water?
I do, and yeah, of course, it goes back to the line. Where is that line? I don't know where to draw that line. I don't think that therapists are the ones who should be drawing the line, because they only have one side of the story. They're very ideologically captured, and they see anything as abuse. We also know that from research that 97% of people report lying to their therapists. So therapists are giving these verdicts like you should cut off your parents, and it's based on half truths or complete fabrications. parents. And then it comes with that clinical authority. It's like, wow, someone with a license says my mum's a narcissist. Of course I have to cut her off, but they don't actually
Just
realize that
human.
the stories are being exaggerated.
Richard, you know, like what, and moving on to like social media and therapy speak, you said you had a great video where you said you notice a lot of adult children in different countries, okay? Different countries, adult children in different countries using the exact same language. Toxic, gaslighting, protecting my peace, this is my boundary, right? Like, but it's very interesting, Richard, because I've talked to so many people and they're like, oh, wow, after watching videos, you know, this video of like something, right? Attachment style, or I'm a people pleaser. Oh, I finally have words for that. Wow, other people are going through that as well. So I feel like that's good, right? Like it's a positive thing that I don't know. Oh, you're shaking your head. Okay. Yeah. What do you think about that? Yeah.
Well, one, attachment theory doesn't really hold up because it's not like you are just avoidant with one person. It's like, I'm avoidant with this person, I'm secure with this person, I'm ambivalent with that person. We change our attachment style. It's not just
Cisco, you've been reading a book. Tell them about the book that you've been reading.
Well, I thought, yeah, I kind of came to an anxious attachment conclusion, but like you're saying, I feel like I'm avoidant with other people. So it's kind of like,
damn, you got the whole thing, bro.
It's like, I don't know. Kind of confused me.
Yeah, it is confusing. And I would just say, like, social media use, especially over 2 hours a day, is clearly associated with worse mental health outcomes. So is it really good to understand, 10 signs your mother's a narcissist? Great, I understand my mother's a narcissist. Am I happier? No. And I've created a more reason to cut off my parents.
You know what? Because you said therapy too, it actually makes things worse, right? Like in terms of the reminding you of the past and things like that, you were saying, right? So in effect, it's that same effect of seeing the same social media thing. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Top five signs that your mother's, oh, that's me. And so that's bad because it keeps reminding you of the past, not the Adler look forward kind of thing.
Yeah, partly. And it kind of goes into this ready-made clause in therapy of like, well, if you can't find an immediate issue, we'll blame your parents. When you look at twin studies, if you look at twin studies on mental health and personality, twins who are raised adopted end up more like their biological parents than the people who adopted them. Similarly, when you look at parenting styles, they recently did a big meta-analysis of 49 studies looking at overparenting versus underparenting, and which one is better? Basically, the real finding was it doesn't really matter. It was only like a 4% difference. The effect size was tiny. And this similar thing of like, oh, you need to cut off your parents to protect your mental health. When they looked at the mental health of people who had done cut off, there was one study that found it didn't make any difference to their mental health. There was another study that found it actually made their mental health worse. So this kind of trope that the reason for your struggles with mental health are your parents, it's just really, really weak.
What he's kind of saying, I think he's got a point because I'm adopted since birth, and my mom was a crack addict. I was going through withdrawal once I was born from cocaine, crack, all of these things. Like if they tried to touch me, I'd like jolt and everything. It was fucked up. But I kind of wanted to back that up because my parents were completely sober, no alcohol, no drugs, no nothing, and yet I became an alcoholic just like she was. And I have cut off my parents. And that has resulted in more depression. I'm cutting off everyone saying, I don't need anybody. I'm going to be an adult. I'm 22. I can hold for myself. And it's resulted, like he said, in more depression, more isolation, taking drugs that nobody's ever even heard of. Like, I have to kind of agree with that, as sucky as it sounds. I don't want to agree because my rebellious nature, but he's right. He's right.
Thank you for sharing that. It's very, humble of you.
I feel like I probably shouldn't have alienated them as quick, but again, going back to that, what's the line? If I feel physically uncomfortable around these people, is it wrong for me to estrange them? Especially if, like, for example, I don't want to trauma dump too much, but I went through sexual abuse and hid it for 18 years, then told my mother, and she said nothing about it. She was like, I didn't know, and then moved on immediately. So, like, to me, that's enough. There's a lot more shit, but to me, that's enough. You're going to reduce what I went through as a child, a young child, under your protection. To me, that's enough. You know, like, it seems like my main thing is that I don't mean to insult you at all, but it's kind of, to me, seeming like estrangement is a bad thing. To me, it's almost taking control of myself, taking control of my surroundings, right? So that's all I had to say. To me, it seems more like, taking back control that I never had as a child.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously it sounds like certainly that line we were discussing was crossed, as we said, persistent sexual abuse. What I would also say is age 22 is a really difficult time. That's probably when I struggled most in my life. And you're going through that time of hierarchy where the parents, are responsible for you, like you said, protection. And now you're going sort of transversing into an equal, relationship. At the same time, your prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until you're 25, and this is when mental illnesses come on most strongly. That's when they came on most strongly to me. Obviously, you've got a right to be angry about what was happened to you and how you weren't protected from those things. What I would just say is, like, family is is worth fighting for. It doesn't have to be forever. It doesn't have to be a permanent solution, and it's it's usually worth fighting for and working on when the time's right for you.
May I say just one more thing? The fact is, I forgot to mention this, that I was removed from my house for weed usage and nicotine usage. And I kind of wish that my mom and dad, even though they were going through a divorce at 17, which is the age I was removed, that they would have done more to try to ask, why are you using substances? Instead of just saying, you're gone. Like, it's this, my way or the highway. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, why would I pursue when they didn't pursue me? I don't mean to sound like that victim complex you were talking about, but
Josh is adding some. Wow.
Yeah. I want to add my personal experience.
Yeah. No,
I have always liked talking about it because I want to know what's going through their minds. Narcissism is what I've been learning about recently through you, Vibe. But it's like,
I don't talk about narcissism. What are you talking about? I think it was Richard. No,
scrolling, like you said, scrolling just all day, every day. Narcissistic parents, 10 signs you're a parent.
No, I did not make that video, bro. I didn't go that low, bro. I didn't go that low, bro. I've done some low content. I didn't go that low.
I confuse a bunch. See, that's just it. Instagram is just it's an amalgamation. You don't even remember shit. But yeah, that was I've been seeing that, like 10 signs your parents are narcissistic, blah blah blah. And I've learned that my dad might have been. That's why he removed me. He was like, I ain't paying for you. If you smoke weed, you do this, you do that. Be gone. And I wasn't doing it in his house, mind you that. I was doing it outside, but then again, it's his rules. It's his, like, if I'm going out to parties and getting high and he doesn't like that, he's allowed to remove me. And I respect that. But I just wish that they would have, my mom, they would have been there more for me. When it circles back to my point, why should I try to make a relationship with them when they wouldn't make a relationship with me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I've just become a parent, and it's, thank you. It does sort of reframe the things that, you're giving one difficult period of time, the divorce and the weed usage, and there was probably 17 years of grace that your parents gave you for when you were learning and making mistakes and things like that. Parents make mistakes and they're not perfect, and I understand why you were hurt, and I think forgiveness when you're ready is is a great thing. They say holding grudges is like drinking the poison, hoping the other person dies. It's not helpful for you to hold those grudges. It's harmful for you to be carrying.
About that, the grudge. Very good. I like that. I've tried to forgive, but
yeah, because you said that for Josh that at 22 you were going through stuff. Can you? I know on some YouTube thing that I watched, you talked whatever you are able to share in terms of your journey
Yeah.
and how you got out of your stuff. I think is very interesting, and I think it's going to be a great thing for Josh and Cisco to hear, and all the people listening. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say it was sort of triggered around age 10, 11. My parents sort of started divorcing. It was a long drawn out process. And then, deaths of grandparents and just sort of cumulative stress, plus a big predisposition to depression, lots of family members with depression. So, like I said, I have to work much harder to be at an even keel than your average person. Then just sort of developed anxiety, then got into fitness modeling and developed an eating disorder, binge eating, bulimia, a couple of suicide attempts, and that was sort of rock bottom. Hospitalized, my shoelace privileges and belt privileges were taken away because I couldn't be trusted not to use them to hang myself. And that was when I got the help I needed. I started to go to therapy and develop healthy habits, start to see the things.
But wait. So when you went to get therapy, did they all work, or was that a process? Because we just said this whole thing was about like how the therapy is hard, about the whole therapy industry. Yeah, walk us through that. So
I was very fortunate in that I could afford, or my parents could afford, to send me to different therapists. They sent me to a therapist when I was 15. It did nothing. I went to a college counselor when I was 19, 20. Did nothing. And then I was like, well, therapy doesn't work, clearly, because it's not helping me at all. Then I went to like intensive therapy, where I was doing therapy every day for like 2 weeks in a private hospital. And that sort of gave me some hope. And then so this is one of the things, there's a study from Manchester University that found that 90% of the men who died by suicide in the UK had been in behavioural services. So there's this kind of myth about men of like, men just need to open up and they'll be fine. It's like 90% of the men who died by suicide opened up, saw counsellors, and it didn't do anything. Luckily for me, I found a really amazing counsellor. Someone who went to Cambridge, super smart guy, and he was able to get through to me and turn my life around. It was a long, slow process. That was from about age 24 till I'd say 32 when I got over the addiction fully. But
and he was there with you the whole time, 8 years?
He was with me for about 5 years. And then that's when I discovered breathwork, ayahuasca, and things like that too. And that really, got me back to feeling great.
Wow. Hey, so what do you think it was that he got through you? Like, what was it?
Well, I did see one therapist or one meme say therapy only works if the therapist is smarter than you. And so
we got a genius here. The other therapist was dumber than him, bro. There was only one Cambridge guy. That was the key word. He said Cambridge guy.
So I would just find these therapists. I would just sort of like, walk around them, and they just couldn't get through to me. They couldn't get through my defenses until I met this guy who was more experienced, wiser, smarter than me, and he got through to me. And that is another big problem with therapy, is that they've gotten rid of the oral exam. They basically lowered the standards to become a therapist, whereas now almost anyone could, with average intelligence, can become a therapist, and they're not giving that great a service.
But I'm super curious though, like, so this guy, like, how did he get through to you? Because you're a smart guy. So was he using logic? Did he just say to you, bro, you're talking bullshit? He like took the direct thing and said, let me slap you around. You don't know what you're talking about, because he's older. He's Cambridge guy. Like, what approach did he take to get through to you?
Yeah, well, it built up rapport. You know, that's the number one predictor of whether therapy works or not is the rapport between the therapist and the client.
Okay.
And you know, it takes time to build up that rapport. So he I can remember like reflecting after a few years. I was like, hey, what did you think when I first came in? And I was like, well, clearly, he said, clearly this guy's really vulnerable. I have to go very slow with him. He's just come out of a hospital. His life is a complete mess. His family is a complete mess. And yeah, he went very slow with me before he could say, like, Richard, this is where you're screwing up. Richard, don't do this. Richard, get your act together in this regard.
Wow. So he like didn't do all, he was just like totally empathetic and understanding in the beginning and just vibing with you basically.
This was quite a long time ago, about 15 years ago, so I'm struggling to remember the exact way, but I could just remember that he's quite, I don't know, I guess I respected him. He was a big guy, a successful guy, leader of like these groups and things. So I was like, this guy must know what he's talking about. I'm a complete mess. I can't function. I should probably listen to someone who's got it together.
Bro, so what do you think about that masculine presence then? That he was the masculine presence for you. Like that's interesting what you just said, right? Like obviously he's a smart guy, but there's just something about him that he had his shit together. He's a man and you know, wow. And so that opens you up. That is crazy, right? Like because there's a lot of discussion about masculinity, toxic masculinity, the Andrew Tates. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was around the time my dad died, so he kind of stepped in to fill that role. Sort of, I guess unconsciously, of like this dude doesn't have a dad anymore. He's adjusting to that. I'm going to be a dad. This guy has 5 kids as well, so you know knows how to be a dad for real.
Yeah. Wow. So you believe then that there's some? I mean, I guess it just depends on the therapist. Then what is what you're
Yeah.
saying?
This is one of the things I kind of, you know, the trap I fell into is like I was a hyper responder to therapy. I did really well on therapy once I found the right therapist. So that's why it was so hard for me to believe the poor results that I was reading in these meta-analyses. That's why it took me a whole like 2 years before I quit, because I was like, well, no, it works for me. It must work for everyone. And when people would say to me, oh, it didn't work for me, I tried it, I'd be like, it's because you're not trying hard enough, or you're stupid, or just I'd find reasons to blame them instead of being like, well, actually, the treatment's not right for them.
Wow! And so when did you this hyper responder? I didn't even know that was a thing. Some people just.
Some people just do really well with therapy and they get better. Some people don't, or the majority of people don't, or the slight majority.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So that's why, that's why, like, you know, my wife is a therapist and my friends are therapists. Like, it's not like I do not believe therapy works. I just believe it's making some mistakes that can be fixed.
How should people then balance? So are you still advocating for therapy? It's just finding the right counselor, I guess you call them. But then how would you balance? Because then you went into breath work, like you deviated. So it's like, for you personally, are you just breath working only? No more therapy?
Yeah, I've completed therapy. Yeah, I completed it. Got the medal, got the trophy, got the certificate. But yeah, I do. Yeah, I like altered states for healing. They tend to get me deeper. Now that I have a PhD in psychology, I need like there's very few therapists out there who I actually trust. So for me to find someone who knows more about this stuff, for me, is harder than it was before I had a PhD. And also, I'm well. I'm happy. My life is going well. Like, I see therapy as medicine. I see breathwork as medicine. Like, you don't take medicine if you're not sick. I'm not sick anymore, so I don't have the call to do it.
Damn, love that. This is a good segue to Richard. So then what do you think about, you said you got a PhD in psychology, so there's very few people that you can talk to, but what about the smartest thing on planet Earth, AI?
Yes. What's your stance on that? Obviously, it's very smart and is very useful for research and things like that. What it doesn't seem to be so useful for is relationships, because it tells you exactly what you want to hear. And there was a study that I did a little reel on recently that found that people are you know, having putting their arguments into ChatGPT, and they're basically being told what they want to hear, and then they go out into the real world, and it's not just like, oh, that was ChatGPT that told me what they want to hear. They're now holding other people to those standards, be like, well, ChatGPT speaks to me like this, and you're speaking to me like this, so therefore you must be wrong. So it's making people, you know, raising the bar of what a normal relationship is to an impossible standard that only a computer can match.
But the thing is, Richard, is that I feel like I saw that study. I saw the reel that you posted about this, so I read the study. But like for me, the woman who led the study, her conclusion was, don't use AI for therapy. I think, right? But I'm like, I've used it for my own personal therapy, and I do some coaching calls called breakthrough calls as well, right? So I use it for that after having a conversation with the client and analyzing the situation. I talk about what happened. I feel like there's a way to prompt and talk to AI. See, the problem is the people who participated in this study, they can't handle the truth. They're like, they need a defense lawyer or a prosecutor. They need a lawyer to back up what they're feeling, right? So I feel like it depends on the person. I feel like I can use it and say, or sometimes I use the third person. Instead of something about me, I say, hey, I have this friend of mine. He's going through this stuff. You got to use any, the best advice you can give. And then I copy and paste that to different models just to check, and it works well. Like there's no less of this sycophantic bias thing. So you don't feel like you can kind of hack the system and to give you helpful answers?
No, I'd agree with everything you said. Yes, if you sort of stress test your ideas, stress test your takes, it's probably quite useful. But it's the same problem with therapy. Is what they found in the estrangement research is when people who had cut off their parents, they said, oh, I found it helpful when my therapist validated me and made, acknowledge what I felt. And then they said, what was unhelpful? And they're like, people who challenged my take, people who said I was overreacting, people who said this wasn't what actually happened and you've misinterpreted things. It's the same thing. People just want it to be validated, and a therapist will do that. Otherwise, someone will leave and they'll lose a paying client, and ChatGPT will do the same as well.
So it is possible to use it well without, if you're,
yeah.
Okay, good. I love Richard. He's so reasonable. Man, data-driven. It's amazing.
Richard, are you using AI, though? Do you have any interesting AI takes?
Yeah. Any interesting AI takes? What do you think? Yeah, great question.
I am using it, yes. I have noticed I have a conflict at the moment, a professional conflict, and I can see my colleague is using AI and it's making everything worse because they're just so hypersensitive. They're reading everything as like inflammatory. It's that the hostile attribution bias. I feel like they've got hostile attribution bias. So it's when someone basically, like parents get this as well with children who have this like dysfunction, is like they'll say I love you and the child will be like, oh, why are you telling me I love you? Like, don't say that. And it's like they have a bias to seeing loving things as hostile. And I can see that these people I'm working with seem to be having this hostile attribution bias, and it's causing all sorts of problems.
Wow. Richard, we're approaching the end of the Vibe Sesh. This has been amazing, but I got two more topics that I wanted to talk to you about. So let's kind of one chapter before the ending, I got another question I wanted to ask you, but tell us now. So we talked a lot about the problems. We identified what's going on, and it's been such an amazing, mind-opening experience. So what do you think we can do to live a better life, to have meaning, to get more awe? You talked about breath work, but tell us more details. I feel like I don't see enough with that about like the solutions part or whatever, like how we should live. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, that is because Instagram favors negativity, right? You have to put something negative. I saw a reel, someone being like, I posted this reel being like, mums, check out these 5 diapers. And then it didn't do very well. Then I put something in saying, don't let mums see these top 5 diapers, and it like went viral. So you have to put something negative, otherwise people won't watch it. So this is kind of my problem. Like, if you want to go viral on Instagram, you have to do negative stuff. And then when I put in stuff like new breathwork study reduces anxiety, it's like, 1,000 views or something like that. It does nothing.
See,
No one
this
cares.
is terrible. The algorithms are. We want to talk about that kind of stuff. That's poor Richard, man. I didn't realize it. I was like, wait, why aren't you talking about the solutions? And
I
it makes
do.
sense because
Yeah.
you're like catering to the algorithms.
Yeah.
That is hysterical.
Yeah. So I do that more in my newsletter, because newsletters sort of middle of funnel, people who are sort of more bought in. So yeah, check out my newsletter, richardlblake.com. You can sign up there, and that's where I give more tips and things like that. But yeah, I think that quiz I did is a kind of another way to help people figure out, because it's like, you've got a 76 score on your quiz. Someone else might have like a 90% score, but it's that 10% that's messing them up. It's because they're completely deficient in vitamin B12, and therefore they can't make the right neurotransmitters and things like that. So I think sort of seeing that puzzle of being like, oh, okay, well, I'm not doing enough exercise, but I am doing plenty of community service, so I'm going to work with start a new training plan.
Amazing.
Anything else though, Richard? So it's like you got the supplements and the breath
Oh
work.
God! Well, it's like 26 different things in that quiz. Supplements, breath work, exercise, fresh air, sunlight, red light, vitamin D, magnesium, creatine, saffron. That's something really
saffron. Damn,
yeah,
I'm missing the saffron.
Yeah. So saffron. There's a new study came out this week. Again, like is a replication of another study, basically showing it's pretty helpful for depression. So saffron. I like these Organifi gummies. I'm not an affiliate with them. I should be. I will be. But saffron gummies from Organifi taste really damn good as well. They've got lemon balm in them as well. I take those because, as I say,
bro, they need to sponsor Richard here. Come on, guys. Anybody has contacts? Let's get Richard sponsored here. He's a freaking amazing advocate here.
Yeah, and breathwork, I would just say, breathwork, try Conscious Connected Breathwork, go to a local ceremony group, work with a one-to-one practitioner who is certified, because a lot of people so my first breathwork session was with a yoga instructor / actor / personal trainer, and he had been to a breathwork ceremony, and he decided to do a group, and it was an absolute nightmare. So yeah, make sure that someone is certified, before you.
But Richard, I forget where I saw this, but you said something about the Misogi challenge. What's that?
Yeah, Misogi. Yeah, so The Comfort Crisis. Michael Easter and The Comfort Crisis, great book. But basically, it also kind of goes back to Universe 51. So it's basically this experiment where they created this perfect rat universe, like this rat park, and basically they gave them everything they need, the food, like a beautiful environment, and the rats just went mad, and they just started fighting, and they started like just stealing stuff from each other. They had everything they needed, and when you take away any struggle, basically they just started fighting. And I think that's kind of true for where we're at in real life right now. All of our basic needs are met. We have most people living above the poverty line live better than medieval kings and queens, and so now we don't have any discomfort, and we need that discomfort. So that's why breathwork, saunas are so good. And then a Misogi is basically it's a Japanese concept of where you do a challenge that it's more than likely that you'll fail. Like, there's a big hill near your house, and there's a big rock, and you're going to try and carry it up to the top of that hill, whereas there's a very good chance that you will fail. And doing that type of thing recalibrates you. It's no trophies for 13th place. It's no dodo effect, and it kind of gets you to recalibrate your.
So you're saying you never succeed. You're just doing it to failure. You're always doing something and you're going to fail. That's the idea, the Misogi challenge? Oh, no.
No.
No. Damn it! I had the last question. Damn. We're going to do the eternal loop question.
Yeah.
No.
I might have to restart just to get the eternal loop, bro.
Bro. Oh, no. You got to give us the eternal loop.
Something.
That was an amazing guess, bro.
He's coming back.
You're back. You're back. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Sorry, this is the brick. I just got bricked out. Have you heard of brick?
Yeah.
No, what's that? What's bricked out?
So it turns off my Instagram at 8:30, and I can't get back in unless I go and find the brick and touch it to the phone.
Oh.
It's actually a really good thing to stop me getting addicted to my phone.
They call it brick. I might have to buy that shit, but I'm a content creator. I gotta be on Instagram the whole time. Oh my God. Hey, Richard, thank you so much. We have one last question that we ask all our guests, and they're all so interesting. Okay, so I want your answer. It's kind of Carl Jungian. Okay, maybe you even heard about it. It's called the eternal loop question. You know that one?
No.
No, good. So here's the question, Richard. So if you had to relive one experience or moment over and over again for eternity, and here's the two assumptions: that you're going to genuinely be happy about this experience, and you're never going to get tired of it, and you won't even know what the time. There's no sense of time because you're so in that moment, and so it's not like, oh, I'm going to get bored of the loop. No, that's not an option. What moment experience do you choose?
Oh, just did this vibe session. Can we just do this for insanity?
Oh my gosh, that was the best ending. Best answer, best ending. And you know what's so funny, Richard? That's my loop. When people ask me nowadays, this right here is my loop. I am in the loop right now, just exploring together and laughing and agreeing, disagreeing, and sharing and going. Oh, man, that was a roller coaster, guys. I don't know. That was awesome. Awesome, guys. That's all right there. Damn, Richard. Not only is this guy handsome, he's a PhD, and he's a fucking beast. Oh my God. Cisco, I need to say you're speechless right now.
I'm speechless. No, this was a great conversation. I'm definitely going to look into breathwork. I really appreciate it. I haven't, and to hear your story of like battle testing therapy and just trying to really believe it too. Like you're giving it a fucking chance and the data just was like disproving yourself and you didn't go into the sunk cost. You're like, all right. So I really
that is great. That is a great Vibe Samurai co-host, Cisco. Amazing. Yes. That's what I was saying before. How did you feel? Because it was your identity. And then, but he was able to, I don't know if I could do that, like get out of that. That's, wow, impressive. Oh. Go on, sir, Cisco.
No, I think I can land the plane there. I appreciate your time and thank you for sharing everything. There's a lot of wisdom tonight.
Yeah. Josh, you got any other words for Richard before Richard closes us off?
I appreciate his perspective. I unfortunately don't follow you. I'm going to immediately after this.
Everybody follow this guy. Buy his book.
He's a good man.
A good man.
I gotta learn more. I'm young, impressionable. I gotta learn. So
this is the guy to follow. All men here, right here. This is healthy masculinity right here, guys.
No toxic masculinity. I appreciate it. I really
Richard, loved meeting you. Thank you so much for spending the time. That was mind-blowing. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to meet you all.
All right. Good night, guys. See you next time.